The Cthulhu Mythos are a series of cosmic horror stories by author H.P. Lovecraft. The stories deal with creatures, cults, and elements of ancient monsters known as the Old Ones, who ruled this galaxy before man even came into existence. The horrors of all of this drive men mad, transform them into horrible mutants, and bring about the awakening of the god of them all, Cthulhu. A squid-faced winged titan from the depth of the darkest ocean, whose actual name is unspeakable by human tongues. From the original collection of stories, many more books, video games, board games, card games, and movies have been made inspired by Cthulhu. One of my favorites being the film In the Mouth of Madness by John Carpenter, a very, very, very underrated classic, but that's not the topic of this particular video. In addition to the films and literature inspired by it, Metallica has contributed 4 songs to the ever-expanding and eternal universe of Cthulhu. This is thanks, largely, to late bassist Cliff Burton. He was a fan of H.P. Lovecraft and incorporated elements of his stories into tracks featured on the second and third Metallica albums. Cliff was a classically trained musician, and with the second album, Ride the Lightning, he helped the band grow technically in their playing. And while some fans resisted this, most embraced it. This technical playing is heard in the instrumental track Call of Cthulhu, which is spelled with a K here instead of a C. Being an instrumental track, there are clearly no connections outside of the title, but the ominous nature of it does lend itself well to the foreboding nature of H.P. Lovecraft. In the follow-up Master of Puppets, it features The Thing That Should Not Be. The entire track and title are filled with allusions to the stories and ideas, horrors that are so beyond the comprehension of the human mind that there's no possible way they should exist. It even quotes, at least partially, one of the most famous lines from the stories: "Not dead which eternal lie, stranger eons, death may die." It would not be until Death Magnetic that another connection to the mythos would emerge. All Nightmare Long takes inspiration from a story by Frank Long, but the themes were inspired by the mythos. It talks about creatures that you cannot escape, even in your own nightmares. The monsters are wolves, known as the Hounds of Tindalos. It's a roundabout reference, but the track's lyrics and music accurately create the sense of adrenaline-driven horror. Many of the Cthulhu stories build to this sort of climax, where escape is impossible. To quote the song itself, luck runs out. The final track goes back to the direct nature of the original 2, with Dream No More off of Hardwired to Self-Destruct. It is essentially a worship song directly to Cthulhu. You turn to stone, can't look away, you turn to stone, madness they say, Cthulhu awaken. I love this track, and I really couldn't believe it when I heard it for the first time. It did exactly what the band wanted, and harkened back to the days of Master of Puppets, on top of it being just an amazing song. As of 2021, these are the only tracks from Metallica that exclusively reference the works of H.P. Lovecraft, but we'll undoubtedly hear more in future records. I have just given you an overview of how these tracks connect, but if you want a lyric-by-lyric reference breakdown, you'll find a link below to an article that does just that. That's also where I got most of the information for this video. You'll also find a playlist of these tracks, as well as the trailer for In the Mouth of Madness. The works of Lovecraft are in the public domain, so they're free to read online, and you can also find ebooks in most online marketplaces. If you like horror that goes beyond the realms of existence and reads like poetic madness, I suggest checking it out. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to help support this channel, subscribe, like, comment, check out my old videos, and I will see you guys next time.